back to the Pittsburgh Soccer Show here on TribLIVE Radio. Very pleased to be joined, as always, in studio by Trib soccer writer, expert, gadabout town, I don't know, Matt Grubba. He's with me. Let's talk a little U.S. Fourth place, Copa America. Third place games are dumb. I think we can all safely agree on that. But rate the performance in the rematch against Colombia that ended up being a 1-0 defeat. I saw some positives out of it. I thought it might have been the best, most attractive soccer they played throughout Copa America.
Yeah, I think it was an improvement over the first meeting with them, certainly. Yeah. And, especially when they went really going for it the last half hour, got Pulisic, made some changes, really went forward. You could see some positives. You could see, a vision of what Jurgen Klinsmann wants the team to be. Now, of course, they're not there yet. Colombia is easily one of the top 10 teams in the world. I never really trust the FIFA rankings, but that's sort of like those world golf.
That somehow says Belgium's better than Germany.
Yeah, that's sort of like those world golf rankings where Tiger Woods was still number one, even though he hadn't played a tournament for a year at one point. So but Colombia definitely a class above the U.S. at this point. But you can see positive movement from the U.S., but it's going to take a lot more of that. I mean,
would you view this would you say Copa America was a success for the U.S. men's national team?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And not just from the on-the-field perspective, but the hosting perspective, other than,
getting national anthems messed
right.
up.
Yeah.
Better pitches, less complaints about the surfaces than we're getting at Euro. Who would have guessed that?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, in France, they're relaying some of these fields less than a week beforehand.
Yeah.
And, using the NFL stadia around the country has been pretty positive, well received. I know, especially in Arizona, just the atmosphere with Mexico basically playing a home game there to open the tournament. The atmosphere's been good at them. The biggest complaint, obviously, has been they've priced some people out of the tickets for this, and there's arguments to both sides of that. It was the most well-attended Copa America in history, but there's still a lot of empty seats there that easily could have been filled if you weren't charging $150 for the nosebleed seat. So that, maybe a little bit of bad optics there while they're still making money. But that's, business side stuff. On the field, I think definitely a positive outcome for the U.S., given the level of competition, which is way higher than what they usually see in a Gold Cup or in World Cup qualifying.
My biggest positive takeaways from this Copa America were, I think we know John Brooks and Jeff Cameron should be the starting central defensive pairing for the U.S. in Russia. I think that's one area on the field where, boom, you've got that settled, you've got that sorted out, that's nice. And for me, the biggest surprise and the biggest mover and who had the best tournament, Bobby freaking Wood.
Bobby, I knew where you were going with that.
Are you kidding me? Where did that come from?
The strength he showed on the ball in a forward role as a guy who can hold up play, as a guy who can turn and create his own shot there. Yeah, he was very impressive.
Tireless defending, getting back, just working his butt off for all 90 minutes. I was blown away. I never saw that coming from Bobby Wood. He scored those big goals in the friendlies against Germany and the Netherlands that, got a little good feeling going for the U.S. after a rough summer. But I never thought that he was actually going to be a guy that we were going to count on in Russia next year. And it's hard to imagine another striker leaping up over him at this point.
Well, and you say Russia in 2 years, so that's why. That's why while I agree with you, these guys have really made moves. I mean, that's 2 years away. You never know what's going to happen with younger players coming up. Who's going to be hurt? Well, Josie's going to be hurt. But
when the major tournament rolls around,
you never know who else is going to be hurt. But yeah, it's a long way away to predict anything for Russia. But yeah, Bobby Wood, you hit the nail on the head. That he had to be the player that showed the most with the least expected from.
So some positive takeaways for the U.S. Yes, it's always the third place game is stupid. It's always disappointing that one team that essentially has a good tournament is going to walk out with 2 straight losses and feel bad about themselves. The U.S. happens to be that team this time, but they still don't feel about as bad about themselves as Argentina do after losing to Chile in a second consecutive final against them, a third consecutive major tournament final overall. We're going to have more on that and the shocking results from Euro 2016 today. We're going to have some more of that coming up on the podcast on the Pittsburgh Soccer Show on TribLIVE Radio.